The next thing that we wanted to talk about was Forspoken. They had this little video. It was like a tech video that they dropped, I guess, with like NVIDIA graphics
Right.
card gaming or something like
Yeah,
that.
the
And
FSR.
yeah, it was like it's
Something
the
like that.
FSR stands for Fidelity Super Resolution.
Okay.
And they were basically stating that this would give you like the best. They were trying to give you the best graphics that have been seen yet on a
That's
console.
the claim, right?
Right.
In the history of open world games.
Right.
Right.
So it's supposed to give you that 4K 60 frames per second. Everything is beautiful, you know, and they're saying that it needs it for Forspoken. And that was the one game that we saw that was showcased. I think it was originally nicknamed Project Athia.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to see a little bit more about it and whatnot. And I'm still waiting to see more.
Yeah, this tech demo was actually all new Forspoken footage, which we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, she was
But-
doing like kicks off of trees and
Right,
shit.
but it was also somewhat similar to what we've seen before. So while
Yeah.
it was all new footage, it
Just
wasn't
more of her
really
running.
new to us as the viewer. It looked exactly like what we've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a couple enemies. We saw like the big massive bear, and we saw those two giant guys that she was fighting. She was like making shields and stuff
Right,
to
right,
defend
right.
against them. Which I was more so asking you, like, what did you think about like the enemy types and what it? Did you glean anything about how you think the gameplay is going to be played? For me, it looked like the enemy count was tiny, was sparse. Like there was a lot of open space before you came across like even one enemy. Or
So you
like
think
two.
it's heavy on traversal?
It seemed like heavy on traversal, low on enemy count.
I mean, it did seem like that's like their bread and butter, right? Is how
Mm-hmm.
how the character is moving through the world. And I believe that that's what the guy was explaining
Yeah.
when he was talking about it was, you know, that how Forspoken plays, you needed to have the 60 frames per second, and then they wanted to make it look as beautiful as possible.
Right.
So, you know, if you're doing a lot of quick movements and stuff like that, you definitely need that 60 for sure.
Right.
As far as like the enemies, I didn't notice too much, but I mean, we saw a dragon at one point.
Right.
You know, I mean, we've seen bears. You know, so I feel like maybe this is something that's like is like a combination of like two worlds or something like that, or maybe this could be like some type of a Skyrim type of world. There was bears in Skyrim as well as dragons, you know, so maybe
This
it's
is like a
something
really
like
big
that.
bear, though, almost like boss-like. It just seemed like the enemies she came across were very big and very imposing. You know, like we're in a lot of games, you come across like piss ants,
Right,
and they're
right.
just scattered all over the place.
Yeah.
And then occasionally you come across like a big enemy, and it's kind of like a mini boss.
Mhm.
It seemed like everything she was kind of coming across in this tech demo was like big and imposing, and like took her a while to kind of like kill them. Just I don't know. It made me wonder about the direction the game is going when it comes to combat and stuff. Like, is this a little bit more like a Titan Soul, or is this going to be a little bit more traditional open RPG? Like, what direction are they going with enemy types? Because there wasn't no piss ants that she was just slicing like a hack and slash.
Right.
They seemed very methodical. Like she's got to take her time and figure out a way to around it and to attack it this way, and like very methodical in nature.
Yeah.
Versus just like Breath of the Wild, where you're just hacking and slashing everything.
Yeah, but I definitely want to see more of this game, man.
And I'm excited.
I need
They're
to see
really
more.
hoping it's 4K 60 frames, man. That's super exciting.
I was talking with my boy Brahms about some of these games that have come out, but like, what was Miles Morales showing at on the PS5? Because I know it was like 60 frames per second, and it had ray tracing, but did it have 4K?
Yes, there was a 4K mode, but it wasn't 60 frames per second.
Oh, it was 30.
It's 30.
So have we had one that's 4K and 60? Like, what's Ratchet? I didn't even look at Ratchet.
60 ray tracing as well. No 4K.
60 ray tracing, but no 4K.
No, it would just upscale to 4K.
Okay, so all right, so I guess that's what I'm getting
No
confused
native
with
4K.
is that it's not native, but they're just upscaling
Right.
it or whatever, you know, to 4K.
Most games that
have been
come
doing
out.
upscaling
Yeah, I think Biomutant is 4K 60 native, I believe.
on the Xbox, yes.
But not on the PlayStation.
Not on the
right?
PlayStation, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's hit and miss on a lot of these games, whether you get both.
Right. And I was because we were talking about like having a game. I'm waiting on a game that can give us the damn 60, 4K, and ray tracing all in one.
We haven't
and I don't
seen
think
that
we've gotten
yet.
that yet.
Right.
So I'm definitely hoping that we can get to that sometime in this generation. It would be pretty cool.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
You know, yeah,
People
maybe
are
we
still
gotta
figure out the hardware and stuff.
Yeah, we gotta get somebody to
but it
figure
just
out the
doesn't seem
overclock
like,
or something.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we're getting that consistently yet.
Yeah.
So this is like hope, right? That maybe we can get that.
Yeah.
I want that, right? I would love to see what a game looks like natively 4K with ray tracing and 60 frames per second. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Not just upscaled.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about it, previous times before or whatever, but it seems like for you to get like that 4K with like ray tracing, but it to be 30 frames per second or something like that, it just seemed like it was subpar. Like 60 frames per second is how it has to be for it to even be.
I know,
like
I used to talk a lot about 60 frames per second, and you weren't really sure about it. I know you became a believer. You're like Colin. He was unsure about it too, but when he tried it, he became a believer. And I agree. I think it is a standard now. Like, you cannot really play a game these days unless it's in 60.
Yeah, you're gonna notice it, man. It's gonna look brutal.
Yeah, even if it's 4K, I'm not trying to play 30 frames ever again. It's gonna look clunky to you.
Yeah,
like it's gonna feel very clunky as you play it.
Right. It's just like, nah, this thing should be moving a little bit better.
I know I can't do it, right? So but they have to figure out how to give us 4K because that's kind of standard now.
You would think. As much as the console showcases 4K and 8K on the damn box.
8K, you're right.
We ain't getting that shit. So how, Sway?
I don't know what the deal is, man. It shouldn't be that big of a problem in this hardware.
I don't know.
We never get it.
I don't mind if my PlayStation gets a little bit more noisy because it's trying to pump out my graphics. Why? Because I've been living with that shit with the PlayStation 4. So I'm okay with that. I'll put that thing further away from me if I got to figure it out. You know what I mean? To quiet it down. Or sell me an extra fan or something like that. Or something, give me some other way. But, get them graphics out there, man.
I agree, man.
Put that shit out there.
Agree.
We in the new next gen. You know what I'm saying? And it's bad enough that y'all mofos keep making games for the PlayStation 4, as well as the PS5.
In my opinion, if it's a game that can run on PlayStation 4, how come you can't get that running on 4K? I would get it if like it's a new engine and like this engine is very taxing to give you like new textures and things we've never seen before. And now we're having a hard time getting 4K again. But come on, Far Cry 6? I mean, come on. Spider-Man that was made on the PS4 on that old hardware, you can't get that game to run a 4K. I'm not understanding like this. Yeah. I'm not getting it.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I would much rather my TV tell me, "Hey, bro, this ain't 4K," than to tell me that the game can't do the 4K. I'd rather have a shitty TV, but like my system is trying to pump out as much 4K as it can.
The bottleneck is my television, not my system.
Right. So, hey, it is what it is. But
I love you, me.